very fluid situation in response to Mr. Floyd's death. That includes our Congressman in East Texas, Louie Gohmert, joining us now live in studio.
Yes, Congressman Gohmert, it's always nice to have you with us, especially on such a crazy news day like today.
First question, a couple of moments ago, the president spoke. Basically, the thrust was, I'm going to shut this down. I'll do it. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, he can take action to help shut things down. Unfortunately for the country, in this situation, it requires the permission, it requires the request, mainly by the governor. You could get local authority, but he has to nationalize the National Guard, federalize the National Guard. He's not allowed to send active duty regular Army military in, because that would violate the Posse Comitatus law. But he certainly can activate the National Guard. It was done back in '92, but it was with the request of the California governor during the Rodney King situation. But the president is just ready to stop the violence. You know, there were so many people, including in Minneapolis, who had stores and they were just barely hanging on by a thread, and then people come in and destroy what they had left. It's outrageous. It does not honor George Floyd, and I'm grateful to the Floyd family, even as they are in great mourning for their family member, their loved one. They're saying, don't be destructive.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to talk about, throughout the weekend we were seeing all of these different protests and riots and looting and outbreaks across the nation. Some cities handled it better than others, and some cities, they didn't have the violence. It was more peaceful. Here in East Texas, for example, we had peaceful protests, prayer vigils. Congressman Gohmert, what do you think is the difference? Why are some cities handling this differently, or is it a different group of people out there protesting, and what's your experience with that?
Well, it's part of the reason is why I keep saying I'm the most blessed member of Congress, because of who I get to represent. We've got a lot of common sense here, and in some areas, including Washington, D.C., it's not common sense, it's just sense, because it isn't common at all. But they didn't have it in Minneapolis. It wasn't in any location where it turned to destruction. You've got people stirring this up, inciting it. They could care less about George Floyd. What they want to do is destroy this country and turn it over to Orwellian society. That's what they're moving for. Eliminate middle class. They'll be part of the little bitty ruling class, and everybody else are the peons. And that's why we've got to stop the violence before it gets any worse. The president's going to do it, and I think the pressure will build on governors and mayors to participate and to ask for the National Guard support and orders from the president. That will happen.
And this weekend, the president said he's going to label Antifa as a terrorist organization. What do you think about that?
It is a terrorist organization. That's what they do. That's who they are. And make no mistake, they've had these plans sitting, waiting for a spark to come so that they could ignite it and blow it into a fire that burns America. They've had these plans going, and so all of the people that are participating in things that turn into looting and violence, they're not part of it necessarily of Antifa, but they are being incited, and I think you're going to end up seeing prosecutions from people, maybe they weren't there, but they were encouraging, helping organize. And in fact, over 3 years ago, when Antifa had encouraged violence, I saw then Attorney General Jeff Sessions. I said, Jeff, you know how to stop this? It's called the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO. You use it, you can shut this stuff down, and I'm encouraging the Justice Department to do that now.
Yeah, Congressman Gohmert, we have about a minute left, but there are a lot of topics right now dominating headlines. Another one right now, our economy and COVID-19 and the impact. We've got the HEROES Act, a $3 trillion stimulus package passed the House, but it'll be dead on arrival in the Senate, as they say. After all the back and forth, do you think Americans will actually see another stimulus package? And if so, who do you think will get that money this time?
Well, I think it'll be a small package, and it'll be fixing some of the problems that were created, some of the uncertainties created in what we'd already passed. There won't be another massive giveaway. As the president says, now we need to move from where we were to recovery, not for reimbursement.
All right, Congressman Gohmert, always a pleasure. Thank you
Great
very
to be
much.
with you always. Thank you, Casey.